Welcome back, everyone. With the new Halloween update that had come to Tower Defense Simulator, many changes and additions were made to the game. Some good, some bad, and some rendering the game borderline unplayable. But one thing that the community can agree on is that the event that the update is centered around is well made and is a pretty enjoyable and entertaining experience. However, not all the events are equal, sometimes due to the amount of effort put into them or because of when they were made. So, it might be pretty clear which of these events are better than the others. Nonetheless, I wanted to jog my memory and go back in time to the beginnings of TDS and try to see which I enjoyed more, whether I was actually playing them or just spectating. Now, I will be going through every event in the history of TDS, including the small sponsorship ones. Obviously, I haven't played every one of these. I only joined around the Easter event in 2020, and so a lot of my decisions will be biased. But it is just my opinion, so don't start crashing out in the comments. Aside from that, I have nothing else to say. So with that being said, let's go to the first event on the list. At number 17, the worst event in my opinion is, to no one's surprise, the Metaverse Champions event. This event is the absolute worst event. It had one reward only, that being the AJ Striker crate drop, and the event only lasted for 10 rounds. It gave everyone the same loadout of Scout, Minigunner, Sniper, and some other tower. And the final boss was some neon-clothed R-throw boss called Faye Yoshida, whose animations make him seem like your local homeless crackhead. The event was part of a much bigger scheme, which was the Roblox Metaverse Champions event, and I'ma keep it 100, but I don't even know what it's about. But it did give us Giga AJ, which is a straight W. And it is followed up by one of my most liked events of all time, but we are not there yet. At number 16, quite an interesting pick from me, but it's the Hunt event. Now I think that as a Roblox event, it was done fairly well. Not to the standard of past egg hunts, but it was at least somewhat of an egg hunt. But the additions it made to TDS aren't anything to be interested in. All they added was either the game egg if you were within the first 200,000 to beat the event, and I think you got something else from my vague memory if you beat it afterwards, but I'm not sure. And you got Core Block's Warden from beating the event. I never got this because I could never be bothered to beat the hard mode, as TDS had just dropped on console, but the optimization for console was pretty bad. Actually, at number 16, we have the Duck Hunt event, the 2022. Quite a controversial pick, but because of the lack of the event tower. I never ended finishing the event, and I was facing a TDS burnout, and this ended up being the last straw as I decided to play other games for once. Because of that, I never got to truly enjoy it. But from my limited playtime, I really didn't like the event. The season pass was cool, and all but the defend the center game mode really put me off. And most of the community agree on that. One good thing is the skin selection, though. I like all the skins in the season pass, especially the Ducky Farm. I'm glad they made it a crate because the skins are just too good to be locked behind. Now at number 15, we have the Classic event. It contained a bit more content than the Hunt event, but the event kicks itself in the foot by being only a week long. Of course, it's not to the fault of the TDS devs, but nonetheless, it makes the event less memorable. In the event, you had to face the infamous hacker, one by one. But I can't lie, I don't really care about him or about the whole classic event situation. You had to beat 5 maps, and you got the guest scout skin and the classic name tag. And the devs were absolutely cooking with these skins. However, they were also lazy as hell, reusing assets from the original Hunt event and diminishing the event's value. It's not the worst event, but it's the most forgettable event. But don't worry, because I've reminded you of it now. Moving on, we have number 14 and number 13 in the same section to save time and because I don't have a lot to say. These events being the Sword Fights on the Heights event and the Area 51 event. I never played these events, and so did most of the player base. I mean, I do have Gladiator, but it's because I dished some of my funds for it back when it was op for early game. And the Area 51 event is even less important, except the boss was the first one to ever kill towers. Besides that, I've really got nothing to say on this. Now going forward in time, at number 12, we have the PLS Donate event. It was lackluster, except for the fact that it gave us the de facto greatest farm skin in the game. No debate. And it finally gave us a voice actor for the commander, which is pretty cool. It was an all-right event in my opinion, and gets hard carried by the farm skin. You also got a scout skin and a name tag. One cool thing about it is that it's the first collab between another independent Roblox game. I hope we see more of that in the future. Going into one of the worst final acts in TDS history, at number 11, we have the Lunar Overture event, being known for that devastatingly buggy mess that is the final act night. Act 3. It was really doing well with the reenacting part of the story bit, but the stain the last act left on the community really dictates my decision. Although I never played the event, from the looks of it, I definitely would not have liked it that much. It gave you a really nice name tag and a decent tower, that being the Jester, but it's still not enough to save the event from scrutiny. Now at number 10, we have the Krampus's Revenge event. Now I was able to play during this time, but unfortunately, I never managed to get the event tower. Pretty sad stuff. However, I quite liked the event system. In this event, you had to beat Krampus, who was the boss of an earlier Christmas event. You had a fully free battle pass, and you were able to complete 5 quests for 5 rewards from gifts, which probably brings some nostalgia for the OG TDS players, as this is similar to the older Christmas event. You got 3 premium chests, a name tag, 2 emotes, and a skin for the Cryomancer, the event tower from this event. Overall, I really liked this event, even though I didn't win the event. The throwbacks to the OG Christmas event is nice, and this is the last Battle Pass before the switch to the dreaded Premium Battle Pass system, so I hold some respect to it. Now at number 9 and number 8, we have the 2019 Halloween event and the 2019 Christmas event. Now a lot of TDS players will say that these events were the best, and I have to disagree with them. I'm being quite gracious by giving it such a high score, even though I haven't played it simply off of appearances. The Halloween event looks to be quite a simple one. First ever event after the mega update, and you had to face Jacobot being the only notable enemy in the event. It also had quite a good roster of skins in my opinion, but besides that, it was mediocre in most other aspects. However, I think the Christmas event was much better than the Halloween one. In the Christmas event, you had to beat Krampus, not the one from the Krampus's Revenge one. The event map was also really good, and the rewards for this event were astonishing. They gave you the Frost Blaster for beating the event, as well as access to 3 gifts that you can open with tickets, an event currency obtained per wave, not through drops like in the modern TDS. You could get a comfortable emote, 3 premium crates, and another event tower. That being the Holiday Archer, I think that those benefits are quite good. The only downside is the skin selection. 4 skins with only 1 good skin, that being the Christmas Farm. All in all, I wish I could have played these events because Mega Update TDS was peak. At number 7, I have the Spring 2020 event. I've ranked it here because it is just a bit better in my opinion, because I've played a bit of it when I joined Tower Defense Simulator. So it's just a bit better than the number 9 and 8. What makes this event special is that it was the first TDS event to be part of an egg hunt. It also implemented the easy mode and hard mode system. In this event, you had to face Ducky Doom. You got the Tower Swarmer from it as well, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the tower. Besides that, the skins are very mid, and the event was alright. And the main thing carrying this event is nostalgia. At number 6, I've decided on the Solar Eclipse event, just because I hold resentment against every single player who was on my team during that period, as they were all had the IQ of your average Twitter user on crack. Because of that, no matter how hard we tried, I was only able to cap at night 2. I'm not going to bother explaining every night in detail as everyone knows about this event, but I will talk about what you got from it. You had to face the Umbra, which from what I heard was quite difficult, not as difficult as avoiding freaky fan art of her on social media. But beating her gave you the Executioner Tower, which is an alright tower, which is a straight mid tower. You also had the Battle Pass of that event, having some really good skins and a Commander skin I wish I got, but I only have the Accelerator skin instead. In my opinion, I feel that this is where TDS really started change, in terms of the detail put into the story, rather than the simplistic but still better style that it had before. At number 5, we have the Violent Night event, which is quite an abnormal pick to most of you, but I put it up here because I enjoyed it more than Solar Eclipse. Why? You may ask, well, it is because I was actually able to play with functional members of society this time and enjoy playing the event. In the event, you had to beat Mecha Claus, and you got the Elf Camp as a reward. The Elf Camp being one of my favorite towers in the game obviously affected rankings. The reason I didn't put it higher is because of the Defend the Center format and how much of an off-putting experience it is. I think the event is overhated, but I can see why people dislike it, and I think it's totally justified to dislike it. Even more so because of the mediocre skins that they gave. At number 4, we have the Christmas 2024 update. This update is probably the most high-quality event we have got so far, and for that reason, and that reason alone, it is so high on the rankings. Now, of course, there are things to this event that make it good, like the tower, the Elementalist, which is one of the most versatile and unique towers I've seen so far, as well as the skin collection. However, I'm less interested in the skins as they have ended up locking them behind a paywall, and that really does make it worse now. And the best part of it all was the storyline, the cutscenes, the dialogue, and the return of one of my favorite villains in TDS, the Frost Spirit. These things have made me put this mode up at this spot. But moving on to the ones that made the podium. At number 3, we have the Halloween 2022 update. It's one of my favorites simply because of the vibes of the event, except the music. I will never forget the PTSD I got over hearing that stupid song in my head over and over again. The event, in my opinion, is quite mixed. The actual event was quite good, the skins being good. But because they failed to release the event tower during the actual event, I lost a bit of respect for it. But it just made getting Toxic Gunner, the event tower, in the next update even more rewarding, along with the fact that it probably is my second favorite tower in the game, and the full all-star lineup of skins as well are just top-notch. In this event, you had to beat Lord Sinister, probably coldest villain in the whole TDS storyline. Simply the coldest design in the game. Honestly, besides the late tower release and the horrible music, there are no downsides to the event in my opinion. Now, the runner-up in my opinion has to be the Hexscaped event now. Some of you might not agree with me here, but this is the first time I've honestly ever been immersed into the plot of an event, except the Halloween 2020 event. And it's also the first time that TDS has ever gone beyond their limits and made a game mode with cutscenes and more. It's very much a nice experience besides Night 3. That's the worst part of it. And the Battle Pass, I haven't forgotten about that yet. In this event, you had to beat multiple bosses, Titus, the Conserver, and the Draco Bloxer, which they totally didn't steal. Besides them, you also had the whole storyline of the Children of Exo. You got rewarded the Harvester for beating them and the Hallow Punk for doing easy mode. Now, all great stuff, however. There are two things holding this mode back: the Premium Battle Pass and Night 3. The Battle Pass this time around advertised so many good skins, however, all of them, and I mean all of them, were under the Premium Pass, as well as the pass being way too long to complete comfortably. Another thing being the utter destructive power of Night 3, because it was probably the biggest challenge anyone's PC or console has faced. And I want to send out my prayers for anyone's PC or mobile that was scarred as a result. My teammate's PC was damn near about set off an explosion had it gone for a few more seconds. But nonetheless, I think just looking at the event in itself, and not the optimization, I think it deserves number 2. And #1, you all saw this coming, but my favorite event is the Frost Invasion event. This event for me holds a special place in my heart. It's when I got my first Golden Tower, my first event tower, as Toxic Gunner released on this update. We were finally rid of the stupid music from Halloween 2020, and on top of that I received a free deluxe crate, something TDS doesn't do anymore. Not only that, the event itself had the perfect level of difficulty and ease at the same time. The boss of this event was the Frost Spirit. One of the most coldest designs in my opinion, up there with Lord Sinister. You got the Sledger as a result of beating this mode, and it used to be one of the best towers in the game, and now it remains to be an extremely versatile one because of the buffs. Besides that, the skin selection was also elite, but above all, I feel it was the vibes and the whole warmth that the game had. It wasn't extremely corporate like it is now, but it also had a new level of quality to it that was never seen before. I mean, just look at the trailer. That in itself was a masterclass. And I can't forget the lobby music. It is just absolutely amazing. Overall, I feel many can relate to this sentimental feeling of nostalgia from this event. and I feel that it deserves first place. And that's about it for this video. This is the first time I've made such a jam-packed video, and so if some parts of it are a lower quality than expected, I do apologize. Besides that, I do hope you enjoyed hearing my opinion on this matter. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't, then drop me some feedback in the comments or some ideas on the next video. Now, I'll be taking my leave. See you all next time.